Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Bold Banter. It's your boy Curtis here. We're here on Friday just before the weekend. We roll into our Week 3 game against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm here with Kendrick. Kendrick, how's it going, man?
What's up? Another episode. The return of Norv Turner for the
North Turner.
Chargers.
He's back. Rivalry match. Left with a disappointing note in San Diego. And now we go into Minnesota to play a Vikings team. But first, let's talk about some stadium news. It kind of broke out this week where there's a couple articles released and people were talking about rumors of the NFL only wanting one team in LA, which is something I've kind of like talked about a lot with people that ask me about the situation. I've always seen that it makes the most sense to have one team just because the best way to describe it is like opening a restaurant in a new location, new city for the first time. You're not going to open two locations at the same time. You're going to open one. And I think L is the way I see it and understand it. Good news for the Chargers. Kendrick, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we've always thought that the Rams had the lead in as far as the LA teams go. So I always thought that their whole stadium plan, how they've been wanting to build it in Inglewood and all that, that they had the real deal, that's where the NFL would want to go. So I think we're starting to see that here. Um, I think I think we knew that as far as it was going that the Chargers would stay. It looked like they were in the lead, but I'm really curious what it means for the Raiders, if they would stay in Oakland or if they would move to San Antonio now.
Hmm.
It'll be pretty interesting. I could see them. I could see the Rams going to Inglewood, and then the Raiders maybe a year, 2 years after being staying in Oakland year to year, moving to LA after that. But I think it's going to be the Rams moving to LA for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel the same way. I think a lot would have to happen for them to not move to Los Angeles. It just seems like a divorce between St. Louis and the Rams that has already happened. There's
Yeah,
just
it's all going that way.
no connection. There's Cranky doesn't want anything to do with St. Louis, unfortunately, and that really sucks. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, we kind of have a taste of that feeling from Spanos here and there, but I can only imagine where there's literally no hope. What that feels like. Yeah, it's just it sucks for them, but maybe Rams have only been there for 20 years ish, so they'll come back to LA. It looks like, and that leaves the door open for talks with the Chargers in San Diego to finally get underway again, and hopefully they'll get something done.
Absolutely. I think we'll be hearing about it pretty soon.
Yeah,
A whole resolution with it. I hope they just get it over with.
and then I saw a cool article. I don't know if you were able to read it or not. It was from Hacksaw, where he was just kind of giving his insight on the situation based on people he knew in the NFL, and he's pretty. He was just echoing that the Rams are pretty much going to San Diego. They only want one team. Goenke wants one team.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The Rams have the advantage here. I think definitely.
that's that. Anyway, good news for Charger fans. I'm curious to see what the next announcement is by the NFL and when it is. I heard they're having meetings next month for stadium type negotiations and chatter. But I'm really curious to see when they might say, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we won't have a team move by this date," or "Oh yeah, we will," or "Okay, it's looking like it might be this team." Like I'm really curious to see how it all plays out now. If it is indeed true they want one team, which I think it is. I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, It's gonna be really interesting the next couple of weeks. I think we always talked about like maybe like week 5 of the NFL season that we'd see a resolution of this. So fast approaching, 2 weeks away. So we shall see.
All right, so let's preview this game. Chargers versus Norv. Good old matchup. Now it's interesting because San Diego Chargers are playing their former head coach, who took a team that someone argue is one of the best Charger teams we had, and continued to have some success, and then later down the road, kind of almost buried the team and made them, in my opinion, terrible. Just by the way they were coached, and it just, I mean, there were games I remember we played the Browns, we lost 7-6. You know what I mean? It got that bad. What this means a lot for the Chargers, I feel like, just out of respect to play Norv, but also Norv knows how Rivers can play, and he kind of knows maybe how Chuck Pagano might operate, and Pagano might know how Norv operates. So it could be an interesting little chess match, if you will, going on between both teams, trying to figure out who has the edge on the other because of the way they know each other.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, the matchup's going to be our defense's talent versus their offense, and the guy you got to really key in on the offense is Adrian Peterson, and if you can shut him down on the run, there's not going to be much coming out as far as the passing game goes. You got Kyle Rudolph at tight end. You got Mike Wallace and Charles Johnson and Cordell Patterson, a wide receiver. But, like, if you can have good coverage, you can shut this team down. The 49ers did it 2 weeks ago when they got Vikings absolutely got embarrassed on Monday Night Football. So if we can do the same thing to them, I think we can come out with a pretty good win here. And I think all around, the offense could really light it up.
Yeah, I think the offense is going to, I mean, knock on wood, take off. But you're right. I think the matchup is going to be how we handle their offense. And we have a kind of a banged up team going on at the moment. So maybe we could just go through the injury report. And, the injury report has grown. So, for a while we were like, we don't have a lot of people injured. Now we look at this report, and it's a little lengthy. So going in this game, actually before I talk about the injury report, a lot of people didn't know that Chris Watt suffered a groin injury during the game. It's kind of like under the radar. And then another big story was Ladarius Green returning to practice and having concussion-like symptoms, which is not good at all, because he's our guy backing up Gates. Gates isn't back yet. So then, guess who's back? Mr. Miller. I think it's Kyle Miller they signed.
Yeah.
Phillips and Miller.
Uh-huh.
And then on top of that, I'll just go down the list. Tariq Williams, outside linebacker. He's had a foot injury. He hasn't practiced this week. Johnny Troutman with his arm still hasn't practiced. Luker had limited practice yesterday, and everyone and their mom freaked out because it has been almost an early return for him on the practice field. I literally saw Twitter blow up when Fluker was on the field practicing.
Well, yeah, he's not supposed to be back till like week 6 or 8. We might see him back by week 5. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that he's doing that good.
Then
you could have a situation where he comes back before Johnny Troutman, which is even crazier.
Oh, yeah. I could totally see that. And then Jacoby Jones, wide receiver, he has an ankle injury going on. Chris Watt, he has a groin injury from the game. Kyle Manuel still has a little shoulder issue, but he's in full practice, and Chris Watt is in limited practice. Harrison, knee problem, unfortunately, in full practice. Ladarius Green, concussion-like symptoms. He's in limited practice, but they're just taking it easy on him. Jalil Adai did not practice this week so far, which is not good because we need him back healthy. And then Jason Verrett apparently has a little foot thing going on, but he was at full practice yesterday. So you got a lot of guys there and a lot of key guys. I mean, was that 1, 2, 3, 4? It's like 7 starters right there having some injury issue.
Yeah, I think the guys that are going to be okay here. Kyle Emanuel is going to be fine.
Yep.
They said Chris Hairston got a little veterans rest. He'll be okay. Jason Verrett's going to be fine. So the guys you really got to watch for. We got to monitor Chris Watt today, see how he looks, and if not, then Trevor Robinson's going to get the start at center. And then I think after that, it all depends on how Green goes through the concussion protocol. I don't think Fluker is going to be good to go. I don't think Troutman's going to be good to go. I don't think Adai is going to be good to go. I don't think Jacoby Jones is going to be good to go.
Yeah, Adai hasn't even practiced this week.
I think Watt and Green are the people to watch for. I don't think Green's going to pass concussion protocol just because this is his second concussion of the season already. I'm really worried about him.
Yeah.
And so
it's worse because he came to practice with concussion-like symptoms. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a
yeah, I suffered this during the game, and then now I'm getting checked on. Like, it's not good. So, at a point with concussions, it's about your career more than a game. So, as he's the tight end of the future, I really like for him to get taken care of.
Yeah, I really hope they, because we had that little thing with Chris Steelman where things weren't taken care of, and he kind of had to retire because he kept getting concussions. If you remember that.
Yeah, he was a great guard.
And that was honestly, I think, in my opinion, a lot of poor management by Mr. North Turner. So there's something like where he suffered a concussion. They took him on a plane. It made it worse, and then he had concussion-like symptoms again for some reason. And then I don't know, it went downhill. Like they weren't being very, very careful about the concussion-like symptoms. They're kind of just, whatever. And he kind of had to retire because he didn't want to deal with any more of that. All right, so let's get to this matchup. We have the injuries going on for the Chargers, and then on the Vikings side, their guard has concussion-like symptoms, so he's in limited practice. And then their defensive tackle had some knee issues, but he's in full practice. So that's all they had going on in terms of injury. And let's start off with San Diego offense going up against Minnesota defense. Minnesota is looks like they're running a 4-3 defense. And there's some names sticking out here. Kendrick, what do you have to say about this matchup? For me, it's going to be a matter of the Chargers not beating up their own selves and allowing the Chargers to succeed on offense by not making their own mistakes.
Yeah, I think the key is mistakes up front, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this works if Chris Watt doesn't go, if he's hurt, because we'll have another adjustment there on the O line. I think after another week at guard, Chris Hairston's going to perform a lot better. But I really think that after seeing the 49ers blow up the Vikings, that Melvin Gordon can really go off in this game. There's not a lot of playmakers really on this defense. I don't see anyone that's going to shut down Keenan Allen like he got shut down last week. I don't see anyone that's going to contain Stevie Johnson. Anyone that's going to stop Woodhead coming out of the backfield. So I think we could just unleash our weapons. And, it's all going to come down to, are we shooting ourselves in the foot? I think that's what kills us in this game and what changes it from a blowout to a close game.
I agree. Excuse me. After last week, I love to see just some good, healthy momentum in our offense because it was really hard last week, and they need to get over the hump and show that as a team they can improve, and I think they will. But it's just something they need to get done, And something as simple as getting a scoring drive on your first drive, you know what I mean? Like, just just having a healthy offense to begin with. Don't start off rough again, getting turnovers or fumbles on punt. Maybe don't put Keenan out there to catch it. But we'll see. I hope it goes well. And their defense, I am not super familiar. I recognize a couple names, but I don't think it's statistically right now they're not a top 5 defense in the NFL. They are, I think they're ranked 15th right now, and we're 21st. But we've also played 2 teams that like to bomb down the field. So
Yeah, I think that we're just gonna be able to just unleash any weapon we want on this defense. I hope it's a blowout. To be perfectly honest with you.
yeah, and then here comes what you and I are calling the matchup is their offense versus our defense. And so far, let's be honest, from what I've seen, AP hasn't had great numbers. But that being said, we know historically he is a good running back and he can do well. This is a game.
I thought he did really good last week.
He
So
did.
I think AP's going and he's not stopping. So if
It
there's
could
anyone
be.
if there's anyone who's going to go off on this team but will still make it out, it'll be Peterson.
Mm-hmm. And we all know this is the same place where Peterson set the record against the Chargers. I think it was back in 2007, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was back when he was a rookie.
Back when he was a rookie. So, they're going to be watching out for him big time this time around. And, their offense, I just have like a stat. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but they're ranked 29th against our 21st defense. And looking at their offense, they have Bridgewater, which a lot of people talk about as being a smart quarterback. Very, by the book smart. And then Peterson, and you have Rudolph at tight end, and then a couple guys out at receiver that I'm not too familiar with. But the big threat, I feel, is Peterson, and the fact that Bridgewater can be a very intelligent and clutch quarterback. And, our weakness, I feel like every now and then is stopping the run, like last week. So we'll see how it goes, what the game plan is. They got to shut down the run game. 8% too to cover.
Yeah, I think you just got to accept that Peterson's going to get his. He's going to get a little bit open, but I mean, if you shut down the passing game, they can't really compete with you in this game. I think if our offense is really running away with it, and you force them to pass, then that forces Bridgewater to make mistakes. As we all know, it forces Norv trying to play catch up with his little air raid of the things that he does. He'll try to do things with Rudolph over the middle. He'll try to do things with Charles Johnson going deep, I think. And it's going to create a lot of opportunities for our guys, I think. Jimmy Wilson has a good opportunity to get a pick here with the guys he's going to be trying to utilize. The guy I really want to watch for is Brandon Flowers going up against Mike Wallace because Mike Wallace is a deep receiver. We'll see how he puts up with him. I think the guys to watch out for on offense are Peterson and Rudolph. I think if you can shut the two of them down, I think on offense you're just fine. Just take what Bridge gives you, take what he gives up, and then we'll turn it into points because I don't think their defense could stop us one bit.
And I'm looking at some stats here from their offense, and it looks like Bridgewater so far only has 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's thrown the ball 50 times, completed it 37. And, no one else on their team The only person that caught that one touchdown was Kyle Rudolph. So
Yeah.
something to be aware of.
Yeah, just watch out for it because their offense is very methodical, and Teddy Bridgewater is a game manager, and
Mm-hmm.
he will utilize play action. He will utilize dropping the clock down, and he will force the defense try to take advantage of them just being tired. So it's what we're gonna have to watch out for. I think we can force a lot of turnovers in this game. I think if our pass rush is really getting to him, I think he's good for 3 interceptions. I really do. So let's tag it on. Let's say Peterson gets a touchdown. Let's go with 120 yards. Bridge gets a touchdown to Rudolph. 3 picks though, and then we turn that in. We score like maybe 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the key is just being consistent on having successful drives for our offense and shut down Peterson and force them to pass and get pressure on Bridgewater, which we couldn't do last week. This could be a fun game. And we could beat the spread.
I'm really excited because I think the Chargers' schedule from here is really going up. I think it's going to be a really good schedule. I think it's a really good way to bounce back. And like if we can keep doing this, we get the Steelers on Monday night, and they're coming here to San Diego. Like we could easily be 4-1, and then be playing the Packers in Green Bay and see how that goes. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. Green Bay is going to be a tough one. But yeah, from here, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and now Green Bay.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh and Green Bay are big tests. I think the Ravens have kind of dropped off. We'll see what they do. But like as you start to look down this schedule, it's all about how are you going to do in the division. If they can run the table in the division, I think it just plays out where they're gonna win this thing. So we'll see. I think Pittsburgh and Green Bay are the tests to watch out for, and then you just got to be careful that you don't travel the early game to Jacksonville and get blown up off your chest because it's late in the season, like we did in Miami last year, if you remember that game.
Yep. Also, a big thing on our schedule, 5 of the last 7 games are division games. So we play the Raiders before the bye. That's the only division game we play. So it's going to get pretty hot there near the end.
It's fantastic. It always happens too. That's why I thought it was funny that the Chiefs and Broncos played each other last Thursday. It's so early for that.
Yeah. I know, the Raider game is week 7. It's crazy. I'm trying to think of what else to say about this game other than what we've said already, but it honestly comes down to what our defense can do and how they can stop them, because I'm pretty confident in our offense going up against our defense. Let's predict a score here as we're talking about matchups. Kendrick, what is your score prediction?
31-17.
All right, that's funny because I was going to say 31-14. Chargers on top. And yeah, hopefully we'll beat that spread because we're down. Spread has Vikings by 2, which I don't understand, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Vegas loves the Chargers.
So
that's all I got to say. Every week it's been like not favored by the Chargers by 3, and then this week it's not favored by 2.
Good. Just don't favor them. I don't want to deal with that.
We're the underdogs every week so far, apparently.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right. Well, that's all I have to say about this game, Kendrick. Do you have anything else to add before we close out here?
No, man. I think that's it. I think we talked about a lot. Yeah, just keep an eye out for our O-line. Just watch for the O-line, see what they're doing. Make sure they get their plays up front. And then really want to see 3 sacks out of the defense. I always put a number on it. 3 sacks by the defense this week.
I'm saying 2 and at least 1 pick.
Oh, 3 sacks, 3 picks, for sure.
Okay, I'm down for that too. That works.
Jimmy Wilson, Eric Weddle, and Brandon Flowers. I'll get one.
All right. Well, thanks again for stopping by at Bowl Banter, guys. Game is at 10 a.m. on Sunday, Pacific time. Watch the Chargers take on the Minnesota Vikings and our good friend Norv Turner. And we will see you guys next time when we recap the Vikings and Chargers game on Monday. Go Bolts. Bolt up, baby.
All right, bolt up. Stay classy, San Diego.
All right, guys. And subscribe to our channel and find us on Twitter at Bolt Banter and like our Facebook page. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.